Yes.
Don't leave until I show up as the host. Okay, there you go. Om. 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 Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvavighnopashantayet Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Om Sri Gurave Sri Satya Sainath Sri Padukam Pujayami Namaha Om Sri Paramagurave Sri Shirdi Sainath Sri Padukam Pujayami Namaha Om Sri Parameshti Gurave Sri Dattatreya Swami Sri Padukam Pujayami Namaha Om Namaschandikaya Om Sri Sairam. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Hari Om, Shalom, Sairam, Namaste. Today is a very beautiful and auspicious day. It is Tyagaraja Jayanti. So Murthy is excited already. So Tyagaraja Jayanti, Tyagaraja, one of the most amazing incarnations of Bhagavan Shiva himself, and he's equivalent to Bhagavan Vyasa in the context of understanding the scriptures, and he is Valmiki reborn because he wrote entire Ramayanam in Kritis, in Tyagaraja Kritis, entire Ramayanam is written. And my sister Anu Sridhar, she is now engaged in bringing together all these Tyagaraja Kritis of in the Ramayana format for the Yajnam, and it's such an incredible tapas that she is doing right now. So as a birth, he is Sakshat Valmiki reborn. And in the context of detachment, he is equivalent to Bhagavan Shuka. And in bhakti, he is as supreme as Bhakta Prahlada. And in the context of music and literature, he is Apara Brahma, the Chaturveda Brahma. And he in music, he is as supreme as Narada himself. And to such a great, incredible inspiration and soul, which many Indians should be proud of for having such kind of souls be born on that amazing land. We offer our pranams to Tyagaraja Swami today before we begin our contemplation on the Dashamodhyaya. And Swami says, Bhagavan Sri Sai Baba says that Telugu people are incredibly blessed that they had 3 kings born in the 14th, 15th, 16th century time frame. One is Tyagaraja, then there is Potaraja, then there is Goparaja. Tyagaraja is Saint Tyagaraja. Bhakta Potana, who transliterated Srimad Andhra Mahabhagavatam, an amazing composition as equivalent to Bhagavan Veda Vyasa's Sanskritam Bhagavatam. And then the third one is Goparazu, who is Bhakta Ramadasu from Bhadrachalam. And of course, we are all amazingly blessed to know and to be born in the time when Satyanarayana Raju also, as Satya Sai Baba, was on this earth. Jai Sai Ram. So we are going to go through this next chapter we just kicked off last week, the chapter on sorry, on chapter number 10, and then we'll start with the, I'll repeat, I have to share my screen 1 second. After speaking about Tyagaraja, my heart is not able to go forward. Okay. You see my screen? Okay. Om Namaschandikayai Dhyanam Uttaptahem Ravichandravanhi Netrandhanusharajutankushapashashulam Ramyairбhujaischa dadhatim Shivashaktirupam Kameshwarim Hridi Bhajami Dhrutendulekham Om Namaschandikayai Om Rishiruvacha Nishumbhannihatan Drishtva Bhrataram Pranasammitam Hanyamanam Balanchaiva Shumbha Krudho Bravidvachaha Balavalepa Dushte Tvam Madurge Garvamavaha Anyasam Balamasritya Yudhyase Yatimanini Devyuvacha Ekaivaham Jagatyatra Dvitiya Kamamapara Pashyaita dushtamayeva vishantyo madvibhutayah tatas samastastadevyo brahmani pramukhalayam tasyadevyaastanau jagmur ekaivasi tadambika. As we were looking at this last week, this Shumbha, totally frustrated with the death of Nishumbha, is addressing the mother, and in which he says, "O Durga, you are puffed up with this pride of strength. Durge Garvamavaha. You have been taken over by this pride of your strength and valor." And he says, "Come alone, Anyasam Balamasritya. You are surrounded by the strength of these other ladies. Come alone to fight with me, not with these other people." Then mother said, Ekaivaham Jagatyatra. Ekaivaham. Ekameva Advitiyam. The supreme principle mother is declaring, a Mahavakyam in this shlokam. Ekaivaham Jagatyatra. There is nobody else. Dvitiya. There is no second. Ka mama para. Beyond me. I am I. Ekaivaham. Jagatyatra. Dvitiya ka. Mama apara. Pashyeta dushta. Can't you see, O fool, O wicked one? Mayeva vishantyo mad vibhutayaha. Can't you see? There is nothing else beyond me. Can't you see? She's asking him, can't you see? Of course he cannot see. Why he can't see? Because he is a dushta. He is a wicked one, impure one. And therefore, he is not able to see anything else other than duality and multiplicity and diversity. The one who sees diversity is the sinner, and the one who sees oneness and non-duality, he is the one that is realized. Tata samastasta devyo brahmani pramukha layam. Then all these brahmani and all these other mothers, they merged into Chandika. Tasya devyastano jagmur ekaivasi tadambika. when all these other mothers merged into her, only Ambika, the Supreme Mother, the Chandika, remained. Can you do these two shlokas, brother from Dev Yuvacha? Martin.
Devyuvacha ekaivahan jagatryatya dvitiya kamama para.
Slow down, slow down.
Ekaivahan jagatyatra dvitiya kamama para. Pashyaita dushtamayeva vishantyo madvibhutayah.
Devyuvacha ekaivahan jagatyatra dvitiya kamamapara Pashyaita dushtamayeva vishantyo madvibhutayah. Devyuvacha ekaivahan jagatyatra dvitiya kamamapara Pashyaita dushtamayeva vishantyo madvibhutayah. Martin, the next one.
Yes. Tatas samastastadevyo brahmani pramukhalayam tasya devyastanau jakmure kaivasi tadambika.
Tata samastasta devyo brahmani pramukhalayam tasya devyastanau jagmure kaivasi tadambika. Tata samastasta devyo brahmani pramukhalayam tasya devyastanau jagmure kaivasi tadambika.
Devyuvacha, the mother continues. Aham vibhutya bahubhihi iharupaihi yada sthita tat samhritam mayaikaiva tishtham yajau sthiro bhava. I stood here surrounded by manifestations that are projected by me. Aham vibhutya bahubhihi iharupaihi yada sthitah. Now I have withdrawn tat samhritam maya ekaiva. Now I stand here alone in the battle. Tishtham yajo sthiro bhava. Now you get ready for the battle. I'm standing here alone. What a beautiful declaration by the mother. The numerous forms which are projected are by my power here. Aham vibhutya bahubhi iharupaihi yada sthitah tat samhritam. I have withdrawn. This is called tirodhana. Projection. Tirodhana. Srushti sthiti laya. Tirodhana. Anugraha. 5 different things the mother does. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Tirodhana, Anugraha. These are 5 called Panchakritya Parayana. 5 different actions that she does. Only these 5 actions. Panchakritya Parayana. And as she does these, the underlying substratum for doing these things on which she stands is Sadyojata for Srishti, Vamadeva for Sthiti, Aghora for Laya, Tatpurusha for Tirodhana, and Ishana for Anugraha. Those 5 substratum, that is the significance of the mother standing on Shiva with 1 foot. Only 1 foot is on him, the other foot is on the ground. With that 1 foot, she is getting all this ability. And she is the one, he is still, he is flat on the ground. And she is the one that is manifesting aham vibhutya bahubhihi iha rupaihi yada sthita tat samhritam mayaikaiva tishtham yajau sthiro bhava. Martin.
Aham vibhutya bahubiriha rupairyada sthita tat samhritam mayaikaiva tishtham yajau sthiro bhava.
देव्युवाच अहं विभूत्या बहुभिरिह रूपैर्यदा स्थिता तत्संहृतं मयैकैव तिष्ठां याजौ स्थिरो भव देव्युवाच अहं विभूत्या बहुभिरिह रूपैर्यदा स्थिता तत्संहृतं मयैकैव तिष्ठां याजौ स्थिरो भव.
Rishiruvacha. Then the Rishi said, who is the Rishi?
Sumetha.
Vedha.
Okay, good. People are awake. All right. What he said, tatah pravavrite yuddhan devya shumbhasya chobhayoh shumbhasya cha devyah shumbhasya cha ubhayoh. Between the two of them, the Devi and Shumbhasya, tatah pravavrite yuddham. Then the war, the battle has started. Pashyatam sarvadevanam, all the gods and asuranam, pashyatam, they were all watching this horrible battle, chadarunam. Now, in this previous shloka, she is actually asking him, Tishtham yajau sthiro bhava, be still and be steady to fight with me. You have to be still and steady even to fight with the mother. If you are unsteady in the battle, then it is so, it's such a beautiful, every one of these words that are used in these shlokas and the meaning they convey. It is such a profound experience just to look at these words. And then go ahead, brother. Tatah pravavrite yuddham devya shumbhasya chobhayoh pashyatam sarvadevanam asuranancha darunam.
Rishiruvacha tatah pravartate yuddhan devya shumbhasya chobhayoh pashyatam sarvadevanam asuranam cha darunam.
ऋषिरुवाच ततः प्रववृते युद्धं देव्या शुम्भस्य चोभयोः पश्यतां सर्वदेवानामसुराणां च दारुणम् ततः प्रववृते युद्धं देव्या शुम्भस्य चोभयोः पश्यतां सर्वदेवानामसुराणां च दारुणम्.
Okay, Martin, one line at a time. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And each line one time, and then the 2 lines together. Sairam, no problem. Sharavarshai sitai shastrai stadha chastrai sudarunai. My God, how many shas are there in that? Sharavarshai sitai shastrai stadha chastrai sudarunai. Good one to practice your shas and sas in this shlokam. And in the 9th chapter, we had the good one to practice your tathadadha. This is a good one to practice. Shasasa. Shasa. Sharavarshaihi, sitaihi, shitaihi, shastraihi, tatha cha astraihi, sudarunaihi, tayor yuddham abhut bhuyaha sarvaloka bhayankaram. The terrible battle in which they both showered against each other sharp weapons and missiles and arrows. Sharavarshai, rain of sharas, shitaihi, shastraihi, asta, shastra, astra, shara, that are terrible. They showered against each other in this battle. Tayor yuddham abhut bhuyaha sarvaloka bhayankaram. It frightened the entire worlds. Just like that incredible blast of that Pacific volcano. I don't know how many of you have actually seen the satellite footage of that. It's a very small eruption of the volcano in the Pacific that happens once in 1,000 years. 20 kilometers into the sky, shot up all the rock and sulfuric acid, everything into the sky in a 200 kilometers diameter. Eruption has happened in the Pacific volcano. And it's so, when you watch those kind of things and what the nature has, the power within it, and how vulnerable and susceptible the human species is with all this stuff, that a small viroid can stifle the entire universe and you still have no clue what is happening. These are the kind of the wars that are fought at that level that shakes up the entire world. Sharavarshai, shitai, shastrai, tathacha, astrai, sudarunai, tayor yuddham abhut bhuya sarvaloka bhayankaram.
Saravarshai shitastrai, Saravarshai shitai shastrai, tatachastrai sudarunai.
शरवर्षैश्चितैशस्त्रैस्तथास्त्रैश्चैव दारुणैः शरवर्षैश्चितैशस्त्रैस्तथास्त्रैश्चैव दारुणैः
Saravarshai shitai shastrai, tatachastrai sudarunai.
शरवर्षैश्चितैशस्त्रैस्तथाचास्त्रैः शरवर्षैश्चितैशस्त्रैस्तथाचास्त्रैः
Tayor yuddham abhut bhuyas sarvaloka bhayankaram.
तयोर्युद्धमभूद्भूय सर्वलोकभयङ्करम् तयोर्युद्धमभूद्भूय सर्वलोकभयङ्करम्
Saravarshai shitai shastrai, tatachastrai sudarunai. Tayor yuddham abhut bhuyas sarvaloka bhayankaram.
शरवर्षैश्चितैशस्त्रैस्तथाचास्त्रैः सुदारुणैः तयोर्युद्धमभूद्भूय सर्वलोकभयङ्करम् शरवर्षैश्चितैशस्त्रैस्तथाचास्त्रैः सुदारुणैः तयोर्युद्धमभूद्भूय सर्वलोकभयङ्करम्.
So in that first line, the holdings, see how many rectangles are there. And if you don't hold on all those places, you won't get the proper matras. If you simply chant without those holdings, Sharavarshai sitai shastrais tatha cha Like that, if you chant, then you don't get exact matras. The timing will be messed up. So you have to give effort to Sharavarshai Shitai Shastrais Tatha Chastrais Sudarunai. See how many emphasis yeses are there? The Shai is emphasis here, Shai is emphasis here. Then there is the Sudarunai, that is emphasis here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Amazing shlokam. Sha, Sa, Sha, all present. Divyanyastrani shatasho mumuche yanyathambika. The mother then released so many divine missiles, hundreds of them. Babhanjatani daityendraha, and the lord of the asuras broke all of them. Daityendrastat pratighata kartrubhihi, in the action against her, the reaction. Her action is divyanyastrani shastrani shatasho mumuche yanyathambika. The reaction, which is equivalent in proportion, is the Shumbha destroying all of those missiles that were launched by the mother. Divyanyastrani shatasho mumuche yanyathambika babhanjatani daityendrastat pratighata kartrubhihi.
दिव्यान्यस्त्राणि शतशो मुमुचेयान्यथाम्बिका
दिव्यान्यस्त्राणि शतशो मुमुचेयान्यथाम्बिका दिव्यान्यस्त्राणि शतशो मुमुचेयान्यथाम्बिका
बभञ्जतानि दैत्येन्द्रस्तत्प्रतिघातकर्तृभिः
बभञ्जतानि दैत्येन्द्रस्तत्प्रतिघातकर्तृभिः बभञ्जतानि दैत्येन्द्रस्तत्प्रतिघातकर्तृभिः
दिव्यान्यस्त्राणि शतशो मुमुचेयान्यथाम्बिका बभञ्जतानि दैत्येन्द्रस्तत्प्रतिघातकर्तृभिः
दिव्यान्यस्त्राणि शतशो मुमुचेयान्यथाम्बिका बभञ्जतानि दैत्येन्द्रस्तत्प्रतिघातकर्तृभिः दिव्यान्यस्त्राणि शतशो मुमुचेयान्यथाम्बिका बभञ्जतानि दैत्येन्द्रस्तत्प्रतिघातकर्तृभिः
Muktani tena cha astrani divyani parameshwari. When he released all those divine missiles against the Parameshwari, the mother destroyed them like a sport. Bhanjaya, Leelayaiva, Ugra, Leelayaiva, Ugra. What did she do? She said, Hum, Kara, Ucharanadibhihi. Just with a shout of hum, hunkara ucharana. By saying hum, she broke as if in sport all those missiles that were sent by him. Muktani tena chastrani divyani parameshwari babhanja leelayaiva ugra humkara ucharana adibhihi. Humkara is one of them. Adibhihi, and so on. That means what? The mother also uttered in ugra, with an ugra, means with intensity. With intensity, with presence, not chanting mantras with, a down spirit like Muktani Tena Chastra. This is not chanting a mantra. It's called sleeping chanting, sleep talking. You have to chant the mantra with the intensity of presence to the sound. Then you will notice that the sound is coming through you, and these mantras give so much of clarity. I was saying, with the purity of the ucharana, then the sound will manifest in front of you, and then in the presence of that sound and the spacing of the silence between the sounds, you shall realize the presence of the mantra right there, which destroys everything that is not associated with that presence instantaneously. That is what we are watching here. Muktani tena chastran. So who is the Shumbha here? The Shumbha is your ego. And this ego is constantly launching some strategy, something that is trying to take your mind's presence to this awareness. And at that time, when you notice, if you are able to notice, because many of us don't even have awareness of that, if you became alert to that, and in that alertness, that is Ugra, and then you say, Hum, all those thoughts, all those strategies, figuring out what to do while listening to someone, we are not actually listening. We are thinking while other person is talking, already formulating a response without even listening to the other person. Just watch this. Look at this. How much the ego takes away the presence of yours to the other person. And then when that happens, just inside you say, Hum, presence will come back. Muktani tena chastrani divyani parameshwari babhanja leelayaivogra hum karocharanadibhihi. You notice again, for those of fortunate ones that joined late all these classes, hum, you don't, even though there is the ka here, you don't say hunkara. It has to be pronounced with full anuswaram as hum karocharanadibhihi. Brother Sairam.
Muktani tena chastrani divyani parameshwari.
Muktani tena chastrani divyani parameshwari. Muktani tena chastrani divyani parameshwari.
Babhanjalilayaivokrahum karocharanadibhihi.
Babhanjalilayaivograhum karocharanadibhihi. Babhanjalilayaivograhum karocharanadibhihi.
Muktani tena chastrani divyani parameshwari. Babhanjalilayaivokrahum karocharanadibhihi.
Muktani tena chastrani divyani parameshwari. Babhanjalilayaivograhum karocharanadibhihi. Muktani tena chastrani divyani parameshwari. Babhanjalilayaivograhum karocharanadibhihi.
Sorry, I was speaking on mute. Tatashara Shatair Devim Achadayata Sa Asuraha Sapitat Kupita Devi Dhanushchicheda Shubhihi. The mother was covered up by hundreds of arrows that were shot by the Asura. Then the mother simply used her, the mother, with lot of intensity, broke his bows with her arrows. Tata Sharashatair Devi Machadayata Sosuraha Sapi Tat Kupita Devi Dhanushchicheda Cheshubhihi Chicheda Cha Ishubhihi. Yes, sir.
ततः शरशतैर्देवी माच्छादयत सोऽसुरः
ततः शरशतैर्देवी माच्छादयत सोऽसुरः ततः शरशतैर्देवी माच्छादयत सोऽसुरः
सापि तत्कुपिता देवी धनुश्चिच्छेदचेषुभिः
सापि तत्कुपिता देवी धनुश्चिच्छेदचेषुभिः सापि तत्कुपिता देवी धनुश्चिच्छेदचेषुभिः
ततः शरशतैर्देवी माच्छादयत सोऽसुरः सापि तत्कुपिता देवी धनुश्चिच्छेदचेषुभिः
ततः शरशतैर्देवी माच्छादयत सोऽसुरः सापि तत्कुपिता देवी धनुश्चिच्छेदचेषुभिः ततः शरशतैर्देवी माच्छादयत सोऽसुरः सापि तत्कुपिता देवी धनुश्चिच्छेदचेषुभिः
Chinne Danushi Daityendraha, when his bow was broken, the king of Daityas, Tatha Shaktim Athadade, then he took his Shakti, which is the spear, the veil. Chicheda Devi Chakrena, then the mother destroyed that with her discus. Tamapyasya Kare Sthitam, that was also in the hand. Chinne Danushi Daityendra Stadha Shakti Mathadate Chicheda Devi Chakrena Tamapyasya Kare Sthitam.
छिन्ने धनुषि दैत्येन्द्रस्तथा शक्तिमथाडरे
छिन्ने धनुषि दैत्येन्द्रस्तथा शक्तिमथाददे छिन्ने धनुषि दैत्येन्द्रस्तथा शक्तिमथाददे
छिच्छेद देवी चक्रेण तामप्यस्य करे स्थिताम्
चिच्छेद देवी चक्रेण तामप्यस्य करे स्थिताम् चिच्छेद देवी चक्रेण तामप्यस्य करे स्थिताम्
छिन्ने धनुषि दैत्येन्द्रस्तथा शक्तिमथाददे चिच्छेद देवी चक्रेण तामप्यस्य करे स्थिताम्
छिन्ने धनुषि दैत्येन्द्रस्तथा शक्तिमथाददे चिच्छेद देवी चक्रेण तामप्यस्य करे स्थिताम् छिन्ने धनुषि दैत्येन्द्रस्तथा शक्तिमथाददे चिच्छेद देवी चक्रेण तामप्यस्य करे स्थिताम्
Tatah Khadgamupadaya Shatra Chandrancha Bhanumatu. Then the chief of Asuras, Daityanam Adhipeshwaraha, Abhyadhavatatan Devim, he ran, the chief of the Asuras, rushed towards the Devi, taking out his Khadgam, the sword, and also the shield, Khadgamupadaya Shatachandrancha Bhanumatu, that is as shiny as 100 moons. The mother destroyed the shield of Nishumbha, and previously in the last chapter we heard it. How many moons were there on his shield?
8.
8.
Yeah, he's ready for any question, anytime. Okay, Chandrasekhar. Okay, 8. Ashtachandrakam. Last chapter we heard. Here, Shatachandram. Tatah Khadgamupadaya. Shatachandrancha Bhanumata. I'm so happy that you are all connected and present, that even paying attention to the number of moons on the shields of these gods. That is actually the study. Then you will, when you are chanting, then your mind will automatically focus on the mantra very clearly, because then you are intrigued. Why 100 moons here? Why 8 moons there? What is the significance of that? That is Adhyayana. And never ever leave that Adhyayana part in Vedas. That is the beauty of these mantras. Simply chanting is important, and perfect chanting is more important, but to understand and chant is perfect. Perfect, because that is the purpose of these mantras, not just the ritual part. Tatah khadgamupadaya shatachandrancha bhanumat abhyadhavatatam devim daityanam adhipeshwaraha. Brother.
Tatah khadgamupadaya shatachandram cha bhanumat.
ततः खड्गमुपादाय शतचन्द्रं च भानुमत् ततः खड्गमुपादाय शतचन्द्रं च भानुमत्
अभ्यधावततां देवीं दैत्यानामाधिपेश्वरः.
अभ्यधावत्तदा देवीं दैत्यानामधिपेश्वरः अभ्यधावत्तदा देवीं दैत्यानामधिपेश्वरः
ततः खड्गमुपादाय शतचन्द्रं च भानुमत् अभ्यधावततां देवीं दैत्यानामाधिपेश्वरः.
ततः खड्गमुपादाय शतचन्द्रं च भानुमत् अभ्यधावत्तदां देवीं दैत्यानामधिपेश्वरः ततः खड्गमुपादाय शतचन्द्रं च भानुमत् अभ्यधावत्तदां देवीं दैत्यानामधिपेश्वरः
तस्यापतत एवाशु खड्गञ्चिच्छेद चण्डिका धनुर्मुक्तैश्चितैर्बाणैर्चर्म च अर्ककरामलम्. As he was rushing towards her, the mother broke into pieces Khadganchicheda Chandika, his sword and the shining shield, by releasing sharp arrows from her bow. Arka Karamalam, Arka Karamalam. See, her hand is shining like the sun, as bright. His charma is Arka Karamalam. So his charma is the shield. Charma means shield. Tasyapatata evashu, Tasyapatata evashu, Khadganchicheda Chandika, Dhanur Muktaihi, Sitair, Asitair, Banaihi, Charmacha, Arkakaramalam.
Tasya patata evashu khadganchicheda chandika.
तस्यापतत एवाशु खड्गञ्चिच्छेदचण्डिका तस्यापतत एवाशु खड्गञ्चिच्छेदचण्डिका
धनुर्मुक्तैश्चितैर्बाणैश्चर्मचार्ककरामलम्.
धनुर्मुक्तैश्चितैर्बाणैश्चर्मचार्ककरामलम् धनुर्मुक्तैश्चितैर्बाणैश्चर्मचार्ककरामलम्
तस्या पतत एवाशु खड्गं चिच्छेद चण्डिका धनुर्मुक्तैश्चितैर्बाणैश्चर्मचार्ककरामलम्
तस्या पतत एवाशु खड्गं चिच्छेदचण्डिका धनुर्मुक्तैश्चितैर्बाणैश्चर्मचार्ककरामलम् तस्या पतत एवाशु खड्गं चिच्छेदचण्डिका धनुर्मुक्तैश्चितैर्बाणैश्चर्मचार्ककरामलम्
Ashvamscha patayamasa, when his horses were killed together, and his ratha, his chariot, along with his saradhi, the charioteer. So the whole chariot, the charioteer, the horses, everything fell down. Hatashvaha sa tada daityaha chinna dhanva visaradhihi. When all of that happened, then he actually took a mace, which is, and then he wanted, even he wanted desperately now took a mace and rushed towards the mother to kill her. Ashvamscha patayamasa ratham sarathina saha hatashvasat tada daityashchinna dhanva visaradhihi.
अश्वांश्च पातयामास रथं सारथिना सह
अश्वांश्च
Sairam.
Swamschapatayamasa ratham sarathina saha.
He is very excited. Okay, I'm glad people are chanting along with you, Martin. That's the good news. Okay, not just Shanta, a lot of people are chanting. So in this particular shloka, there is a pathantara here. From here, those of you who have learned previously from the Gorakhpur Patha, this line, the second line is not there. And therefore you have to pay attention to the changes. If you are using old texts, Ramakrishna Math or Gorakhpur Path, etc., make a note of this. This from here onwards, the flow is different. Ashvamscha Path, that's so the next one, Jagraha Mudgaran Ghoram Ambika Nidano Yataha. So Udyataha. So this one is only talking about Hatashva sa tada daityashchinna dhanva visaradhihi. Then I said he took up a mudgara, which is coming in the next one, not necessarily in this shloka. So my apologies for giving the next shloka meaning here, but keep going. Ashvamscha patayamasa.
अश्वांस पातयामास रथं सारथिना सह अश्वांश्च पातयामास रथं सारथिना सह
हताश्वस्य तदा दैत्यश्छिन्न धन्वा विसारथिः
हताश्वस्य तदा दैत्यश्छिन्न धन्वा विसारथिः हताश्वस्य तदा दैत्यश्छिन्न धन्वा विसारथिः
अश्वांश्च पातयामास रथं सारथिना सह हताश्वस्य तदा दैत्यश्छिन्न धन्वा विसारथिः
अश्वांश्च पातयामास रथं सारथिना सह हताश्वसतदा दैत्यश्छिन्नधन्वा विसारथिः अश्वांश्च पातयामास रथं सारथिना सह हताश्वसतदा दैत्यश्छिन्नधन्वा विसारथिः.
Beautiful chanting, both of you. Jagrahamudgaram ghoram ambika nidhanodyataha. Then he took Jagraham, Udgaram, Ghoram, Ambika Nidhanodyataha to kill her. With sharp arrows, she then split his mace. Chicheda patatastasya Mudgaram. She split his mace into pieces. Nisitaihi Sharaih, with sharp arrows. Jagrahamudgaram Ghoramambika Nidhanodyataha Chicheda patatastasya Mudgaran Nishitaisharaihi.
Jagrahamudgaram ghoramambika nidhanodhyataha
जग्राहमुद्गरं घोरमम्बिका निधनोद्यतः जग्राहमुद्गरं घोरमम्बिका निधनोद्यतः
चिच्छेदा पततस्तस्य मुद्गरं निशितैः शरैः
चिच्छेदापततस्तस्य मुद्गरं निशितैः शरैः मुद्गरं निशितैः शरैः
जग्राहमुद्गरं घोरमम्बिका निधनोद्यतः चिच्छेदा पततस्तस्य मुद्गरं निशितैः शरैः
जग्राहमुद्गरं घोरमम्बिका निधनोद्यतः चिच्छेदापततस्तस्य मुद्गरं निशितैः शरैः जग्राहमुद्गरं घोरमम्बिका निधनोद्यतः चिच्छेदापततस्तस्य मुद्गरं निशितैः शरैः
Tathapi sobhyadhavattam mushtimudyamya vegavan. Then very fast, he went fast towards her and used his fist and tried to use his fist to hit the mother's chest. Then the Devi struck him back on his chest just by her palm. He was using fist, she just used the palm on his chest. Tathapi so abhyadhavattam mushtimudyamya vegavan samushtim patayamasa hridaye daitya pungavaha.
तथापि सोऽभ्यधावत्तां मुष्टिमुद्यम्य वेगवान्
तथापि सोऽभ्यधावत्तां मुष्टिमुद्यम्य वेगवान् तथापि सोऽभ्यधावत्तां मुष्टिमुद्यम्य वेगवान्
समुष्टिं पातयामास हृदये दैत्यपुङ्गवः
समुष्टिं पातयामास हृदये दैत्यपुङ्गवः समुष्टिं पातयामास हृदये दैत्यपुङ्गवः
तथापि सोऽभ्यधावत्तां मुष्टिमुद्यम्य वेगवान् समुष्टिं पातयामास हृदये दैत्यपुङ्गवः
तथापि सोऽभ्यधावत्तां मुष्टिमुद्यम्य वेगवान् समुष्टिं पातयामास हृदये दैत्यपुङ्गवः तथापि सोऽभ्यधावत्तां मुष्टिमुद्यम्य वेगवान् समुष्टिं पातयामास हृदये दैत्यपुङ्गवः.
Devyastam chapi sa devi taleno rasya tadayat. Devya astancha api sa devi taleno talen urasya tadayat. Wounded by the blow of her palm, the king of the Asuras fell down. Nipapata mahitale, he fell down. Talapraharabhi hato, with her palm when she hit him, he fell down on the ground, wounded by her blow. Devyastan chapisa devi talena urasya tadayatu. Ura means chest, uras, urasa, sirasa, drishtva. When we say uras means chest. Devyastancha pisa devi talenorasya tadayat talaprahara bihato nipapata mahitale.
देव्यास्तञ्चापि सा देवी तलेनोरस्य ताडयत्
देव्यास्तञ्चापि सा देवी तलेनोरस्य ताडयत् देव्यास्तञ्चापि सा देवी तलेनोरस्य ताडयत्
तलप्रहाराभिहतो निपपात महीतले
तलप्रहाराभिहतो निपपात महीतले तलप्रहाराभिहतो निपपात महीतले
అయ్యో ఏమన్నా ఇలా అన్నాను ఏదైనా నొక్కువేంద్రా
Urni Sai Rama. Yarra Babu idi Gayatri. Oh. Sai Ram, sorry about that. Go ahead.
देव्यास्तञ्चापि सा देवी तलेनोरस्य ताडयत् तलप्रहाराभिहतो निपपात महीतले
देव्यास्तञ्चापि सा देवी तलेनोरस्य ताडयत् तलप्रहाराभिहतो निपपात महीतले देव्यास्तञ्चापि सा देवी तलेनोरस्य ताडयत् तलप्रहाराभिहतो निपपात महीतले
Sadaityarajaha sahasa punareva tathothitaha. Sadaityarajaha sahasa punareva tathothitaha. Immediately the king of Daityas sprung up. He rose up. Utpatyacha pragruhyo chair devim gaganamastitaha. Then he got hold of the mother and then he went into the sky holding her along with her. Catching hold of her, he sprung up high. Utpatyacha pragruhyo chair devim. Holding her, he sprang gaganamastitaha into the sky.
सदैत्यराजः सहसा पुनरेव तथोत्थितः
सदैत्यराजः सहसा पुनरेव तथोत्थितः सदैत्यराजः सहसा पुनरेव तथोत्थितः
उत्पत्य च प्रगृह्योच्चैर्देवीं गगनमस्थितः
उत्पत्य च प्रगृह्योच्चैर्देवीं गगनमास्थितः उत्पत्य च प्रगृह्योच्चैर्देवीं गगनमास्थितः
सदैत्यराजः सहसा पुनरेव तथोत्थितः उत्पत्य च प्रगृह्योच्चैर्देवीं गगनमस्थितः
सदैत्यराजः सहसा पुनरेव तथोत्थितः उत्पत्य च प्रगृह्योच्चैर्देवीं गगनमास्थितः सदैत्यराजः सहसा पुनरेव तथोत्थितः उत्पत्य च प्रगृह्योच्चैर्देवीं गगनमास्थितः.
That's a beautiful place where we can let them be frozen in the sky for today. And then we'll come back and see what they do from there. So, to be continued. The battle continues. And if you truly want to understand this battle internally that happens, pay attention to it. And you shall notice the same battle happening. And for today, we'll conclude the Kshama Prarthana. And I request Martin to do Kshama Prarthana.
Shekharji, I have a question.
Om Yadaksharaparabram
Yadaksharapadabhrashtam.
Om Yadaksharapadabhrashtam Matrahinam tu yat bhavet Tat sarvam kshamyatam Deva Narayana namostute Visarga bindu matrani padapadakshara cha Nyunani chatiriktāni kshamasvasahishvara aparādha sahasrāni kriyante hannisham maya dasoyamiti māmattvā kshamasvasahishvara anyatha sharanam nasti tvameva sharanam mama tasmāt kārunya bhāvena raksha rakshasahishvara Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Sahishwararpanamastu Swastif Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahi Mahishah Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaha sukhino bhavantu. Samastalokaha sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti 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 Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
That's so beautiful, Martin and Shanta. Excellent rendition. Thank you. Yes, Gayatri, what's the question, ma?
Yeah, my question is, in this entire Devi Mahatmyam, Devi is in a very, very Ugram form. And then there's the aspect of the Shanti Durga Parameshwari. So I want to know from an internal, personal, our own mind and conflict, there's the aspect of suppression and there's the aspect of sublimation. And so they always say to sublimate is better than to suppress, because then the mind will come up in an explosion. So I just want to understand that from the Devi Mahatmyam concept of the fight and the vigorous, the ferocious fight that happens. So
yeah, the same thing happens with Shiva too. Ghora, Aghora.
Mm-hmm.
Aghorebhyo, adhaghorebhyo, ghora ghoraterebhyaha. Sarvebhya sharva sarvebhyo, namaste asturdrarupebhyaha. The mother also in the first chapter, you will actually see that Brahma invokes her, and also the Devas always describe her as the Ghora and Aghora. How do we reconcile these two aspects with respect to our own insight? That's a very beautiful question. You see, the manifestation of the ego associated with the qualities is what we are actually, mother is fighting against. Be very clear about that. And in the context of Madhu and Kaitava, it is complete tamoguna that is manifested. And there she didn't even have to do anything. She doesn't even get into action. She has to exit, not act. That is very beautiful. That is actually in the context of Tirodhana. That is what we were talking about. And Anugraha means also remanifestation. So when we're talking about how do we reconcile this Shumbha, the fighting, what is all this happening? The awareness, when the ego is showing up with different types of egos are popping up associated with these qualities, not one aspect of this awareness will actually work against that. Like as last week we were talking in study circle. By the way, we are doing Gita Vahini in our study circle right now. It is completely Swami's blessing that you have to study. If you study Bhagavad Gita in conjunction with Devi Mahatmyam, that is the supreme sadhana. Because Bhagavad Gita is actually the rendition of Bhagavan, who is nothing but Durga, or he is also called Krishna. She is also called Krishna. Both means black. Okay. So in the Bhagavad Gita, when he is talking about what are all the manifestation of this ego associated with the different gunas, not one tool would be able to annihilate the ego. Because the ego is coming to attack your awareness. Be present to that. But we are completely identified with our ego and we cannot see the awareness. But actually, when you are present in awareness to how the ego is acting up, the ego also acts as misplaced humility sometimes.
Yes.
That is one type of ego. Huh? Do you recognize that? I'm very, very humble.
Yes.
What is this? People talk like that. I know their ego is 100% in effect. Misplaced humility is ego. Because it's playing it's hiding behind this humility to play the ego. Sairam, I mean, I'm not mincing words. You have to be looking, when you look at all of this within yourself, and then even the sattvic ego, when it is coming and attacking your awareness, it plays games. My God, unbelievable. So when those things pop up and you read in the stories of these great sages and the saints, including today, we are remembering Tyagaraja, how incredible that his idols were thrown away into Kaveri, and how he relates it to his ego. And he says, it is because of my ego you have disappeared from my home, Rama. And then he gives a blow. The awareness tests every aspect of the ego, is using all kinds of different strategies. Sama, Dana, Bheda, Danda. Be grateful that Bhagavan is giving all these tests to completely test our ego and to see how much we have actually understood this concept of yajna called awareness and alertness. Jai Sairam.
Jai Sairam. Thank you.
Any other question? Does that explain Shumbha going to fight against her? She giving back blows. Every time your ego is attacking your awareness, the awareness reacts with a beautiful response, action, reaction.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Shekharji.
Sairam. Okay. Any other questions? 15 people have left. Before I only remain. Ekaivaham Nadvitiyam. All these things will come through our beautiful presence, and in the stories of these saints and sages, and when we read, including Prahlada, including Tyagaraja, including all these great saints stories that you can completely relate to how many different ways they have gone through in eliminating this I and the mine, through Viveka and Vairagya, the discrimination and the dispassion. And in the beauty of all of this, what we are really trying to connect is then, I am attached to my bodily relations. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? No, it is not about good thing or bad thing. There's nothing called this is good, this is bad. Anyway, I had to do this with my very close friend of mine, a brother who is going through a hardship right now. And I was mentioning to him, yes, we are attached to the other people through our body relationship. And that attachment to that body is what is called tamoguna. The body is tamas, because by itself it is inactive. Hello, you understand? What's your body as presence? I don't know if Mona is still there. Your body is tamoguna, because by itself it cannot do anything. You may have eyes, but if you don't have the Chaitanya inside it, your eyes are inactive, right? Hello, am I making sense, Martin? Yes. Yes. It is a Vigrahendriya Pranadhi Tamaha. None of them are Sat. They are Jada. Your body, your Indriya, your Prana, your intellect, all these things are Tama. They are Tamo Shakti. They are Asat. The only thing that is a Sat makes them active, and that is the presence. So our attachment to others, our own relationships, our own friends, our relatives, mother, father, all these things are in the context of a body relationship, because the body is tamas. Such attachments are also tamas. They're tamoguna. Then in the context of those attachments, we express passion towards these relatives, towards this caste, towards this clan, towards this group, my group. Now suddenly, I am Satya Sai devotee. Now suddenly what happened? There is an ego identification of you becoming some Satya Sai devotee, and by stating that, you are making an emphasis that other devotees are less or more or whatever. My guru, my teacher, my group, my clan, my this, my that. That is passion. That is Rajoguna. 100% you will lose connectivity. And then you come to this Sattva Guna. And in that, you are connected. You are not attached. And you are not identified by passion. And this mother story is all about how this ego is associated with the different levels of manifestation of these gunas, and how she's annihilating systematically every aspect of that in this beautiful glory of the mother. How many times I have to say the same thing over and over again in many different forms. At least these aspects of what we are talking in this context of what we are talking as these 5 aspects of the mother, Panchakritya Parayana, the Srishti, Sthiti, the Laya, the Tirodhana, and the Anugraha means remanifestation. And when you go through all these different stages, these are also 5 stages of the mind. And then that stage, which is even beyond the sattva or the Shuddha sattva, and then ultimately resurrection as 100% divine spirit. That is what is the 5 aspects of the mother's activities. Okay, Sai Ram, have got enough dose for today? People are getting intoxicated with this now. So let us get intoxicated with the divine spirit and leave the other spirit aside. Let us be in the divine, not the wine. Jai Sai Ram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की